The only efficiency I'm actually concerned with is the ratio of the amount of time spent researching fun facts about dinosaurs against the amount of time spent sharing fun facts about dinosaurs. So today, we're going to do a very inefficient way to play certain chords. It's actually going to be great practice and kind of help you visualize the fretboard in different ways. How we're going to do this is we're going to take every note in the key of F, which is officially the key of 2019, and then put a different chord voicing on it. So we're going to learn 7 different chord voicings, all rooted on the low E string, okay? So what we need to find the notes of F major. We start on F, the first fret on the low E string. Again, every root note is going to be anchored on this low E string, all right? So we have the first fret, which is the F. We go a whole step. The third fret, G, another whole step. A, half step. B flat, whole step. C, whole step. D, whole step. E, back to F. So we have 1, 3, 5, 6, 8, 10, 12, back to 13, which is an octave away from where we started, okay? So, starting at the beginning, we have F, major chord. We're gonna turn this into F major 7 chord, as you may have predicted, okay? So, root note is gonna be the first fret on low E string. We're gonna skip the A string, gonna kind of mute it with, your pointer finger. I'm actually gonna be playing this finger style on this deluxe D'Angelico Deluxe Atlantic, but play it however you want. All these chord voicings are going to be work, and they're all movable shapes too, which is really helpful. So again, there's our root note. We're going to skip the A string, ring finger 2nd fret on the D string, pinky right behind that, 2nd fret on the G string, middle finger on the 1st fret of the B string, okay? So this is the 1 chord in the key of F. Now we're going to talk a little bit more about maybe just using this chord voicing and moving it all around, but first I want to talk about different chord voicings that you can have all kind of rooted on the same string, right? So there's the 1 chord. The 2 chord is going to be a G. Now this is going to be a minor chord, but instead of playing it like a minor triad, let's make it something special. Like how about this minor 6 chord, which is a 2 chord special, right? So now your middle finger is going to be on this G, the 3rd fret of the low E string. We're going to skip the A string again, which is going to happen in most of these chord voicings. Pointer finger is going to grab the 2nd fret on the D string. This is what makes this a minor 6 chord, because 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, instead of shaking the 6th note in the major scale over kind of a minor chord, it can be confusing thinking about it that way, but for now we're just learning different chord voicings, chord shapes that we can attach to a root note. So pointer finger's on the 2nd fret of the D string, your ring finger's on the 3rd fret of the G string, and your pinky is on the 3rd fret of the B string. Alright, this is the 2 chord in the key of F. We have F to a G minor, or more specifically an F major 7 to a G minor 6, all right? Now remember, the 3rd note is this A, okay? This one is gonna be an A minor 11, another minor chord. We're gonna put another minor type of chord voicing on that. This is the one that I have chosen for this fun, exhilarating exercise, okay? So we have your middle finger is still rooting it there, 5th fret, skip it. Ring finger 5th fret on the D string, pinky 5th fret on the G string, pointer finger is going to reach back on the 3rd fret of the B string. 1, 2, 3, 4. Major 6 chord, all right? We could easily put a major 7 chord here, but no. In the spirit of education, major 6 chord. Middle finger is going to take the 4th note in the key of F, B flat, 6th fret on the low E string. Your pointer finger is going to grab that major 6, just like we did in the minor chord, right? But now we're going to have a major voice of this. So your pinky is going to be on the 7th fret of the G string, and your ring finger is going to be on the 6th fret of the B string, the same fret that your root note is on, okay? So now we have 1, 2, 3, 4, okay? Now, a lot of times, this is where you might want to take a step back and go down a string to maybe use a different chord voicing. That's why this isn't really the most efficient way to do it, because we're going to play another chord here, the 5 chord, as a dominant 7 chord, all right? This is going to be C7. Middle finger, still going to be the root note, 8th fret of the low E string, pointer finger, 7th fret of the A string, ring finger, 8th fret of the D string, and your pinky is the 9th fret of the G string, okay? So that's going to be our 5 chord. Now a lot of times you might play like a C7 like this in a lot of different things in the key of F, because it's so much easier to go from like an F major here to a C7 here than maybe taking this and then going all the way up the neck. But there's a lot of value to be had in something like this, because especially if you find yourself getting kind of trapped and just playing around in the same area, this is a good way to kind of expand into like other parts of the fretboard and to kind of continue on, especially once we start adding more, you know, like arpeggio rounds or something like that, where you can kind of like take off into higher areas of the neck and just tying together chords and scales, arpeggios, all that stuff. I've found taking a root note approach on one string is a great way to kind of visualize how these things kind of stem out and spread out into other areas. That's just kind of the way that I like to explain things, but you know, to each their own, all right? So, maybe not the most efficient way to play this, but a very valuable teaching exercise, getting us to that C7. Now we're gonna continue on to the 6th chord in the key of F and play a minor 7, all right? So D minor 7, this is the relative minor in this key. So the D on the low E string is the 10th fret, middle finger's gonna be there again, skip that A string, and then just try to bar the 10th fret across the D, G, and B strings. You can always replace this for any of the minor chord voicings if you want. Like if you don't like the sound of a minor 6 or a minor 11, turn those both into minor 7s. I would say that's probably the most common way to extend a lot of these. Plus you don't really have to think too hard about it. Just keep that same shape all over the place. So again, these are just different chord voicings on each root note. Please feel free to mix and match, all right? Now we're not done here though. One more chord, the 7 chord. Take the same shape. In fact, I like to kind of think of this one, right? So now everything is on the 12th fret. I like to think of this as, remember the 3 chord we did, this minor 11 chord? Do that same thing here, except take your pointer finger and go 1 fret higher. And that gives you a half diminished minor 7 flat 5, E, minor 7 flat 5, E half diminished, however you want to look at it. Whichever words you want to use to impress your hipster guitar friends that you know this chord is totally fine, right? Or you can kind of just take the lower part of it. However you want to do it. That's going to be the 7 chord in this key, okay? So recap, we have F, major 7, the 1 chord, the 2 chord, G minor 6, the 3 chord, A minor 11, the 4 chord, C or B flat, major 6, the 5 chord, C7, the 6 chord, D minor 7. Oh, tricked you there with the minor 11. The 7 chord, E, half diminished, and then back to F, okay? Now, these are just, you know, places where you might traditionally find these chord voicings. A lot of these can be mixed and matched, right? Like I said, with the very first chord voicing, you could have this on the 1 chord or the 4 chord if you want, and just go back and forth. Right? Any way you kind of combine these is going to sound pretty good. So that's why I think it's a cool thing to do. And also, when you do that, like instead of going from like a F to a B flat on the A string, what you're doing is you're robbing yourself of a valuable transition of sliding back. Don't rob yourself of that. Don't rob the listener of that. It's something that you want to be able to have in your bag of tricks, kind of sliding back and forth. Because sliding is something that is kind of unique to guitar playing in general, right? So why not use it to your advantage? You could even put a major 7 chord on the 5 chord if you're nasty, if you're just a freak out there. Why not? Diatonics be damned. Major 7 on the 5 chord, what are you gonna do about it? And then really just minor 7 it up around there. Any combination of these is gonna sound okay. So really just kind of take these. I think it's really valuable to learn them. If you want to take the next step out, learn an arpeggio off of those, because every single one of these chords is going to have a different corresponding arpeggio. That's why I tried to make them all different chord voicings. And again, you know, maybe that could be even a different video or something. I've got a lot of videos on arpeggios, but nothing quite in this vein. But I think it would be very interesting for your guitar playing to be like, all right, this is a major 7 chord voicing rooted on the E string. Now I need to learn a major 7 arpeggio rooted on the E string, and then maybe you can kind of take that, you know, even into a higher octave. Same thing with minor 7, all that stuff. So, you know, if you find yourself kind of trapped in maybe one section of the guitar, I think learning different chord voicings all along one string is a super helpful exercise that you might find a lot of value in. And if you have any questions or comments, hit me up in the comments section, Instagram, Twitter, or the website. I'll talk to you all soon. Thanks a lot.